Hey Jake, what's up?
Yo, how's it going? Good to see
Doing
ya.
good. Thank you. I see you're in your studio.
Yep, in the studio, just getting stuff done, trying to.
Yeah, okay. So what's the agenda today? What are you working on?
We're just finishing up a record now, so we're just going through like revisions and getting, gang vocals in and figuring out that sort of stuff. So the fun,
Gang vocals.
yeah. So figuring out, how to package all that, and then getting people to do it. So.
Dude, that's awesome. Okay, so you're working on a song that's high energy.
Yeah, well, so we're like going through we're working on this record that's like 11 tunes, and so
Mhm.
we're just like trying to structure, all right, do we need gang vocals here? Like what do we need for each tune? And then create a list and then send stuff off to get everyone in it. So
Nice. Okay, so I guess we're just hopping right into this. We're not
I
wasting
don't
any
know.
time. This is what
Okay.
happens when you're in the studio, like it just sparks everything.
Yeah, it just sparks.
So you just released a single called Changes,
Yes, I did. Yep.
and that is a collaboration with a few friends of yours. Are they part of these gang vocals?
Maybe not with these ones.
Okay.
That was with Bipolar Sunshine, who I used to MD for and I do some production work for, and Chance Pena, who I also MD for, and we collab on some stuff too. So they
Awesome.
might be on it, maybe.
Okay, so you got the single that came out and now you're working on the full length. Do you know any time frame of when that's gonna drop? Are you working on details yet?
Yeah, so we're just kind of figuring that part of it out. We changes got on like New Music Friday and a couple Spotify algorithmic, so we're trying to
Oh, that's so awesome.
yeah, it's cool. So we're trying to like push everything in relatively quickly to say like, hey, we got this thing. What should we do with it next? So ideally we're looking at like 2021, but we're still waiting to
Okay.
get an official date.
Dude, that's amazing to get on New Music Friday. That's so hard to do. Congrats.
No, thanks. Yeah, it was New Music Friday UK, but still it was,
Good freaking enough. Are you kidding me?
good. It's great. I freaking love the UK. They put us on
I
a bunch.
haven't been on any playlist ever. So
It's really crazy. Like Spotify algorithmic stuff. I feel like it's one of those things that it's dope. Like, especially like one of those things that it's super like you gotta be like connected in a way, and luckily some of the artists that I were working with had like some teams to help get those cooking
great.
to be 100% real.
I love cooking. Let your
Yeah.
friends know I cook.
Yeah, so it's cool. How about you? Like, you just got like 10,000 subscribers. Am I
Yeah.
correct in saying that?
On
Congratulations.
YouTube. Thank you.
Sick. That's the important thing right there.
I don't know how I got so lucky. The earthquake gods blessed me with a viral video. I was just streaming on Twitch. It was last year, and an earthquake hit and it went viral because I was obviously recording,
Yeah.
and my reaction of it. And I happened to have been singing for the 5 seconds right before it happened. Thank God I wasn't just talking some ish, but yeah, so it's helped me a lot. I used to have that exact same mug.
Mug vibes, right?
Okay,
It's
can I ask
awesome.
you where you got it?
I have no idea.
Because I got mine at Goodwill for $1.99, and I was
Do you know
so
what? I
proud.
think that might be the story behind it. My wife knows, but like I'm sure that's the vibe because we have a lot of stuff like that too. So
Nice. Okay, so hold on. We got so quick into this.
I know we just dove in. It's all good.
Let's back up a second, because first of all, I've known you for a while. We follow each other on Instagram. It's been a while though. Where the freak did we meet? Where did it start?
Yeah, right. So we were both doing a show for Sweet Live, Adam Sears thing,
Oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
That was so long ago. And it was, we were like trying to get some video for like a live thing.
Yeah.
So that was that, because we were both doing looping stuff.
I remember, yeah, it was my first looping show, and I was like, I had no idea that the person right before me was doing looping too.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. That show, oh my God. First of all, you set the bar on looping so good. And then I
Oh,
go
I don't know
up there
about
my
that.
first time, and I feel like that was it was one of my most recent bombs where I feel like I was just holding on for dear life.
No, you crushed it, but I feel like that vibe in that show was just like a bomb field that we were all just like sort of experiencing and going through. Because I had the same sort of thing too, of just like, all right, like, oh boy.
Isn't that just kind of LA venues in general?
100%. Yeah. It's like a lot of people don't like know that or get to see those types of venues when things are like happening.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's the best kind of thing where you just don't know what's going to happen, don't know what you're walking into, and don't know who's really performing.
Yeah.
And it was dope to see you because you were awesome. And it was like, all right, like this person is crushing it and has her stuff together and it's awesome. So
crushing it to death.
crushing it to like.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't really have a problem when it comes to getting on stage behind my keyboard and like singing my songs, Just that show, my brain was on overload. Like I couldn't, when you practice something in your room, this was one of those things for me where I practiced looping for like 2 weeks straight right before because I had never done it before. And I had the crazy idea that, I have a show coming up. Maybe I'll do looping for the first time after just learning how to do it. And I got that bright idea. And I'm thankful for it, though, because like you're talking about, going out there and not really knowing what to expect. And if it pushes you, I feel like that's how you get good, is like going into something with no expectations and you having to pull out your skills. You're just put on the spot. So that's what that show was for me, a learning experience.
But it's cool though, because you have like the chops to back it up. So it's sort of like seeing, like, I love these looping things because in a way it's like an artist is about to like diffuse a bomb and you're like, all right, this person's a pro at this. There's no structure to it, and to a certain extent, let's like see how they go with it. And you really did a good job. Like it was awesome.
I could cover it up. I was just like,
yeah, we're out here.
Just being outrageous, So you're in your studio and this is your recording setup, right?
Yep.
And do you stream it all? Because that's like a whole different beast as far as like getting set up for these kind of things.
Yeah, right. I don't necessarily like. I don't. I'll do like studio sessions and stuff where we'll do Zoom sessions because COVID. Mm-hmm. But I don't have like the awesome stuff that you do, which is so cool. Like the Twitch like crew and everything is like, I need to figure that out. You need to help me.
Well, there's not much difference between Zooming and Twitching.
Mm-hmm.
So that you do Zoom a lot, it shows, because you've got your headphones and like the microphone and everything. So what mic are you going through actually? Because you got your Neumann behind you.
Oh, yeah, I got the Neumann there. Yep, the U87. But then I'm just using a Sennheiser like E895, just like a live mic that we use on the road.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I use their dynamic mics a lot. I love them. They're great to me.
Yeah.
In the studio, I haven't gotten a Lewitt yet, though. This is a Neumann yet. I have a Lewitt. This one was given to me by a friend who has like way too many free things that companies give him. He's one of the guys at Gear Gods. And so I love this mic, but every time I'm in the studio, we always get the best vocals when I'm like on a Neumann. I don't know what it is, but they're owned by Sennheiser now, was my point.
Okay, yeah.
But they're cool. They're cool guys.
They're cool. Like it's one of those things with gear too that like sometimes the gear that's not like the names, like Neumann is just a name,
right,
can just be the best stuff.
Oh God, I love my Lewitt mic so freaking much. I also have really nice plugins. Sometimes I can't tell like which one is the biggest factor because I don't have I have a one of those Scarlett kit mics.
Yeah.
And I definitely hear a difference between that and the Lewitt, obviously. But it's like, I don't know, plugins just do so much. I'm all about that FabFilter life, man.
Oh, 100%. Like FabFilter and Sound Toys.
What's Sound Toys?
Sound Toys is sweet. So like FabFilter is all about like surgical stuff, right? You're going in there, you're like really cleaning it. Then Sound Toys is like analog-ish stuff and dirtying it up in ways that analog does. So it's like the whole concept of like, all right, get it nice and crisp and let's really tear it up to give it just some like stuff. So
and like compressors and
not necessarily like some stuff. Decapitator, which is like it's an analog saturation distortion plugin. So it's like if you like punch stuff a little bit harder. Just a bunch of weird stuff. Yeah, you should. As all of us gearheads know, like come November when it's Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday, like they just give it away so cheap. So you should like hop on all those.
Yeah, I haven't bought anything in a while.
Cool. Yeah, good. Congratulations.
The last thing I bought, I actually have them here, believe it or not. I usually don't have these. Is the Beats.
Okay, nice.
I love these because they have the noise canceling. And when I was on tour, like I'm very easily overstimulated. So like the constant noise I'll start getting irritated and I don't know why. So I got these for that. But every time I'm mixing, because I've got Rocket 5s and I also have in-ears that I'll sometimes check a mix on. But like stepping away and putting these on and like going for a walk and listening to a mix, it sounds like it doesn't sound like what I've been listening to for the last 5 hours or however long I've been working on it. It gives me like a nice break, and I feel like this just makes anything sound good. So I'm careful about that too. And then I just listen to it through my phone raw to check too.
Yeah.
But this makes anything sound good. I don't know what they do.
And those are Bluetooth as well?
Yes, they're wireless. They're amazing.
I'm running out of headphones.
I think these were only $200. They were on sale when I got them. So not a bad investment. But I think they have just extra bass or whatever, and it just makes everything sound awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's also how people are listening to the stuff too.
Probably. I mean, I have the AirPods too, so I checked those. Those aren't too bad now. Like the newer generations, they don't sound too bad. But yeah, I don't know how much you mix, but I just released my first self-mixed song like 2 months ago. So I'm just kind of starting to get in that world, and I'm like learning the tricks of like listening to it on different things.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I'm all about that. And just like having everyone mix their stuff, because like I feel like it's such a creative thing too that people forget about in the process. And then like if you're doing it and creating like cool mix concepts and getting it there, it speaks more of like your art too. So
I agree. I was just talking to someone about this the other day, that when I started, I think it maybe shows a little bit more with producing, but like I can actually create the shape of what I was feeling in the song. And it's a creative outlet of its own. And it's almost like writing the song again in a way, because you have more tools this time around. So I love that. So you're mixing and engineering and doing all of this for this album then?
Yep. Doing all the mixing. Yeah. So it's, I do the writing, producing, mixing, recording stuff. Then I have my buddy, my homie from college, Quinn, who's out here in Los Angeles too, and he'll do trombone and trumpet on everything. So and then we send it off. We have a mastering engineer, Scotty Banks, who's in Las Vegas with Studio DMI, who's amazing. And we'll just send it off to him. So it's a little three-person conveyor belt that we're doing.
And so are you working remotely with Quinn too right now then, or is he coming over?
So yeah, we're working remotely. He's got his setup that we're continuing to build as well. But yeah, he does all the horn stuff at his spot. Occasionally I'll go, I have just like a small number of artists that I will go into their home studios to do some production, but we social distance and wear a mask the whole time.
Oh wow.
So, like,
God, that sucks.
It's hilariously awful and annoying, and I hate it.
Yeah. I've only done Zoom sessions so far. I haven't I haven't been brave enough. And it's not that I'm scared. Like, people that I know, it's actually, well, I say that. And like the first 2 weeks when this whole thing hit, like mid-March, I had my friend come over. Like, I had to come home early for tour. And I was like I was about to get on my flight to come back. I was like, dude, I'm coming back to LA early. Let's get in the studio tomorrow. And so he came over, and then it was like lockdown. And so we were like stuck in my house for like a week, and we were just working on it. So I don't know, he could have had COVID and I didn't even freaking know it, but obviously we were fine. But now after that whole lockdown thing started, like, I don't know, I just haven't been brave enough to get in a room with anybody yet.
It's so the one place I'll go, which is the Bipolar Sunshine. He's got a separate studio, which is nice, just knowing that we're the only people going there.
Yep.
But other than that, yeah, I'm horrified by certain things and canceled a lot of sessions.
I don't know, man. It's just different times now, and I'm kind of rolling with it. Like, I'm kind of okay with it. I've been forced to like learn things on my own and execute things that I wouldn't typically try, just because I am my main resource now. And I've kind of been enjoying it. Like, I'm an introvert. I kind of like creating by myself anyways. It's been an excuse for me to just like go hard on learning and getting better myself,
Yeah.
you know?
That's the best. Like, it's cooking time. Like, we're all like,
It's
you know, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you meet Quinn? Do you guys go way back?
Yeah, so we went to Berkeley in Boston, went to college together.
Oh, God, you're those cats.
We're those, no. But we were in like a band together, and then we just tried to make a couple groups throughout our time at college, and all of them, like, you know, were get the band together, write all these songs, do 3 shows, the band breaks up, cool, like rinse and repeat, let's do it again. But but he just moved to Los Angeles like probably about 2 years ago. No, not even that, because he's been on the road maybe a year ago. And I just kind of said like, hey, like, I'm working on this record, like, let's do this, let's have it be this alt hip hop EDM trombone duo thing that, like, you know, we've been talking about. So
Yeah. Wow. And was that what you said? You've been talking about that? So you're like planning this out?
well, a little bit. We've been trying to find a way to like collab and get stuff, because I was working in the EDM realm for a bit, and I was like, there's got to be a way to get like good horns on stuff. Like Brass Tracks has been doing it for a while, but just trying to find this like common ground of putting this stuff together. And yeah, and then we worked on a couple tunes, and that's going to be on the record too. Some of the stuff is out too, like Better Parts, where we did together. But yeah, it's just this sort of weird thing we've been trying to do with like taking the horn elements and making them more like synth elements. So when we do a tune, it'll be like, let me get like the bass, drums, I'll write like the melody and lyrics, let's see how we can fill it up with stuff that isn't poly synths, and then like tweak stuff and get it in. So
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound too disfamiliar with what we kind of already know in pop music, you know? Like Ariana does stuff like dun, 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 dun,
Exactly,
dun,
yeah.
that one, whatever that song is.
yeah.
And then the Confidence song by Demi. Like, these are mainstream songs where it's like the horns are like that hook that come in at the end. How much like that structure of where like the drop comes in and the horns come in, is that kind of the world that you're in?
But we're kind of trying to get away from that, right?
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, because like right now, the way I feel like horns are being used is like, all right, it's coming in, and we're gonna have the horns hit there, and it's gonna be the big like up front. But if you listen to like Better Parts or Changes, like a lot of those pads that are just, you know, like whole notes, like kicking it down there below and maybe like a little bit of side chain, they're horns that we like processed, you know, did like low pass filtering on, and then put in a reverb space and like bop it through guitar pedal octaver, and that's that sound rather than like synths.
Okay, so but like that's a cool nerdy thing. You're like,
Oh yeah.
I know that that's a horn. But like, is the average person going to be like, oh, that sounds different than a normal synth, you know?
I think there's like a little bit of a texture difference.
Okay.
Because you get this weird thing with horn players because they're using breath.
Air,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so they're not like, so it's not like this consistent, like, all right, here's the chord for 2 measures and it's right there. You get this, yeah, which is great, which is like so awesome. Like, I got my profit here, we're ready to cook.
Yeah.
But you get this weird like human decay with it, where you just kind of get this like bow, and then it runs out a little bit, which carves out some more structure for other things to be there, which is kind of nice, rather than like automating everything like that for,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what are you putting it through? You said you're making it sound different?
Yeah, we're trying like everything, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Depending on what it is. I've really gotten into hooking up my pedal board as outboard gear, right? So we're running through like a lot of guitar pedals and reverb pedals and filtering it a lot with Fab Filter, and using like stuff like Decapitator or Crystallizer to really make it sound weird.
Yeah.
Which is fun. You know?
No, that is cool. Have you heard of this has nothing to do with what you're saying, but I'm curious about what everybody thinks about it because I just got it. Have you played around with arcade yet?
Okay, so I have arcade and I tried it a bit, but I've sort of gotten a little bit in my ways when it comes to like the way that I'll chop up vocals, because like arcade's really great for that. What is it like? Is it Hooked? That's like the engine in it. And I'm just like an old stubborn butt, and I'm just like, do you know what? I've got my little way that I'll cook with it. I don't want to like go that route too much, but you hear people create amazing stuff with it. So it's like, it's
But I feel like exactly what you're saying, because I'm a very like customizable person, and like whatever I record, I want to be like free to make whatever out of it. And I feel like for me so far with it, it kind of feels like one of those things that you can create demos with.
right.
But then you're going to want to go back and like record it and make it right.
Yeah.
On how you want to do it, because you're just changing knobs, and it's like not necessarily you, like how you're hearing it. It's like stuff that could trigger other ideas. It's kind of how I've been using it. I don't know.
No, totally. I totally agree with that, right? Which is so cool, because like that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But then like if you, like you're saying, are taking the extra step to like then make it like, this is going to be Shinova stuff here, and then we're going to go in and like tear it up. That's awesome, because that's like the personality in your music. But I feel like a lot of people don't take that extra step, and then you hear it with stuff.
Yeah, they're okay with it sounding like something they've maybe heard before.
Exactly, right?
Which is maybe good. I don't know. I've been really debating about this, like it's hard for me. I'm that kind of artist that wants everything to be original and new. I'm so ADHD. Like when in the duration of me making a song, I get over certain sections, and this next section has to be different, and then there's got to be a bridge, and everything's got to be different, and I gotta want it. I gotta want to have it. Got to get it different than anything I've heard before. But at the same time, I think Miley is the perfect example of this. She just released a song called Midnight Sky that I covered. Plug.
Hey, there you go. Check it out on YouTube.
But it's very Stevie Nicks. Like some of the melodies are freaking exact. And she got her blessing from it or whatever. But it's like, is there something to things being familiar and to why people are gravitated to it?
Yeah, that's like it. I've been going through this too. It's tricky because also in a sense we're like businesses, right? Where we need to like, all right, this like my mindset for so long was like, it has to sound like the radio, and just like really chasing after that. But I feel like there's a lot of listeners that are just getting what they're being showed, right? And so that's why like these trends are so big, because it's like
shoved down their throats.
Yep, they'll just be like, all right. I mean, I love Billie Eilish, but Billie Eilish is the perfect example of how powerful labels are, because if you remember, the YouTube branding, the Spotify branding, and everything was like what was in front of you for like a month, 2 months. And it's great because it's great original music, and it's like labels are actually helping artists like, move art forward, which is cool. But then again, it also shows like, oh man, like what were they doing when they were pushing like all these other pop artists that were exactly the same? You're just sort of like training your audience to like a certain sound. But I feel like listeners are adventurous, you know?
Yeah, she feels like a one in a million to me. You don't see that often where something so different is pushed that hard. So I don't know who was doing who to what, but what to who. I'm too dyslexic to talk. I need a license or like a apology on my shirt. Like I might say stuff backwards constantly. What were they saying? I don't know. I'm also ADHD. Should have a shirt for that too.
You know what? I love it. I don't know. I just love all these conversations because it's just it's so real and it's good. But you were just talking, or I guess we were in the realm of like Billie Eilish and one in a million and who's pushing what.
Right. I mean, you know what it is. I don't know. I think there's exceptions to the rules. Obviously, if you get enough of a fan base doing something completely different, you can do your own thing. I just don't. I know you were talking about chasing, wanting to have it that perfect radio sound. And sure, we all, I think, ideally want it to be accepted and appreciated by as many people as possible, which is why the standards are there, you know? But at the same time, I don't think, I mean, this is very common knowledge too, but labels don't really know what they want either. And they don't know what the audience really wants, which is why there's this really cool underground place where if you're a DIY artist and have 100,000 fans and can fill 2,000 people in a room in major cities, like that's cool too. So I think what is mainstream is not necessarily the only way to be successful in this business.
Oh, 100%. Like I'm totally with that. Like when I was on the road with Bipolar, because when we started playing, he was with Interscope, and it was like my first peer into like, all right, let's see how these labels are like working and functioning. And then you come away with the realization like, all right, they don't know, like they don't know what they're doing. And the same structures that they're using for marketing and stuff are the same that DIY musicians are using. You know, it's all Facebook ad marketing and all of this. It's all the same thing, but they just happen to have millions and millions of dollars. But yeah, that's the best shows and the best music that I've been listening to are all cats that aren't with labels, because it's like so much better and so real.
How do you discover them though? How do you find these people?
So it's so funny, like with this stuff, it's sort of going down little tiny rabbit holes. Like a couple of years ago, I made a record that I took off of Spotify that was like this sort of pop punky record.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I love it. Like that's my roots. Like, you know, Blink-182, The Descendants, like my life is that. Wow. But then I went like through all these blogs and stuff trying to find like, all right, let me contact bloggers. And then all of a sudden I started like reading articles, and it was like, oh, let me check out this band. And then you like see like, oh, like this band is cool, and then they're also connected to like this band, and then your Spotify algorithmic playlists for Discover Weekly start to pick up, you know, all the things of indie bands, which was like cool. Like one of the bands I really dug was the Front Bottoms and the Districts and like Modern Baseball, which we're all on they're all on this playlist. I think it was like Pigeons and Planes. Is that like a blog, right?
Yes, have I been on that? I don't know. I maybe reached out to them.
Right?
It's possible I didn't get on it. I don't know. But yes, I've heard it.
I did not get on it either. I mean, I was not on it, you know. Yeah. But still, like I found the bands and just went down these rabbit holes, and fans just, it's cool. It's like they like, I mean, obviously we know fans like music, but to see the music community be so like, yo, if you dig this, you should check out this in the underground scene. And it's like a beautiful thing. But I just was like following a couple of those pages and stuff and getting into it that way. And again, like they're big, like Front Bottoms are signed to Fueled by Ramen and Super Dope, but their sound is like super indie, and they're still relatively small compared to like other bands on that label like Fun or 21 Pilots. But but that's sort of this weird thing that I've been doing, that I started doing back then, which is like trying to see what the indie circuit is doing and tapping into that. And you'll just see some incredible musicians that
Yeah.
make like the best music ever, but a lot of people don't hear of them, but they have a
Because
fan
you
base
keep
and
it
they're able to
all.
make money
You
doing
don't
it
have
too.
to share that money coming in.
How about that?
Which I think is great. Like I kind of have changed my paradigm a little bit on this. And, you know, for a very long time, the only path that I saw was getting signed by a major or an indie and then a major, you know, getting discovered somehow. And throughout the years, as I've learned everything the hard way and had every bubble burst, I just started realizing that not only am I more powerful than I anticipated, that I can do a lot of things on my own and take leaps that I didn't think I could do on my own, but I kind of like that feeling of being totally self-sufficient and like I'm totally self-made. And the more that started like marinating in my mind, I think it'd be totally cool to do what I was saying, you know, be able to go to major cities and fill rooms with 2,000 people and, you know, not stadium stuff, like amphitheater stuff, and be able to put out a video on YouTube and get 100,000 views on it or whatever. Like, that's sustainable and it's possible. And it's still success. And there's ways through merch and content that you can make a living and feed the kids, you know?
Oh, well, there's a couple artists that I MD for are doing that completely. And it's so funny because labels won't touch them. Like, they're so not on the radar of any of that. But they make a killing in merch. They make a killing in streams, which is like, what? And that's such a vibe. That's like the way to do it. Yeah, it's so weird. Like,
I wish it was talked about more.
Yeah, right.
Because I used to be that indie artist that didn't know that what I was doing was cool and profitable if I just kept to it, you know?
And like, you know, didn't get distracted with people being like, do this and then this will happen.
You're gonna be a star, kid.
You're gonna be a star. You know, it's like, no, like that. You don't want to be that type of star with certain things, and there's limitations and restrictions with all of it too, you know.
Yep.
Like, if you're able to get benched on a major label and then you still have like 3 albums that need to get done, you don't get to do music for however that time frame is, you know.
I mean, I could go down that whole rabbit hole of nightmare stories I've heard of people getting signed. Like, they think it's the best thing that could ever happen to you, and then it happens to them, and they got stars in their eyes, and they're their bushy tail, and they're like, yeah, everything's great, and then they get screwed, either money-wise, or they can't make music, they can't release anything, or they're getting controlled, and you have to do this and you have to do that. And as artists, we're in such a weird business because there is a business to it, but you can really only anticipate and formulate the perfect path for an artist. You can't really do that. And for me, at least where I am in my indie phase right now, where I'm doing everything myself and I'm in complete control and no one else is telling me what to do, I just follow my gut. Like, I literally just follow my intuition, and I see the feedback of things that I put out, and I'm go, okay, well, I'm going to do this the next time. And, oh, well, that wasn't so good, so I'm going to try this next time. And it's just like trial and error and following my instincts. And I think when you're with the label, some of that kind of gets shoved out the window, and some of the beautiful things that are created in the heat of the moment as an artist, like spontaneous ideas, don't get made.
Yeah. You know, like, if Radiohead was going through, you know, their Kid A album again today with a label, there's no way the label would greenlight that. Yeah. It just wouldn't even be like, they wouldn't even be able to turn on the synths on that album because everything's just so different, and it's a trap. I mean, it's like, in a way, it's a trap for people, but Yeah, I wish that too, that people were more open about the other side of it and seeing how it's done. I mean, obviously, like Chance the Rapper, great example of doing it and building it all on his own. And there's tons of teams like that. Um, but then yeah, it's an interesting field, especially living in LA, because I feel like everyone has a different opinion that they're 100% locked on how to do it. And that's just, there's no truth in that. There's so many different ways to do it, and then they get sad.
It's not happening exactly how they were thinking it up. Yep.
Like even with the stuff with changes, like we got on the Spotify editorial playlist, which is a super big wall that we've been trying to get through for a while, and it's still, we get more streams on some of the other stuff that we've created from like fan streams and interactions. And it's like, then you look at it and you're like, all right, this doesn't matter at all right now, and it's not really helping in any way. How many hours did I worry about it trying to get through this hurdle and like stressing myself out about it, and like, wanting to quit music and being like, I just can't do this thing, and then realizing that it doesn't mean anything. I wish that there was more people, being open, being like, it's okay, like just do you.
It's freaking hard. We're in a really tough business, and I think we're kind of set up for failure in a lot of ways, like mindset wise, because of these things that we're talking about. And keeping your head on straight through it all is really tough. You become your own worst enemy because, like you're saying, and I do see that in LA a lot, is people just get stuck in these ideas, and it's this one way or the highway type mentality. And they're not realizing the key that is unfortunately quite ominous, but is the truth, which is no one path is the same for every artist. And you can't set your mind, you can't lock your mindset. You have to be open, and there has to be this flow, because like with what the success I'm having right now on YouTube was a total random thing. And I wouldn't have ever posted that video if I wasn't with my ex-boyfriend at the time that was like, yeah, I know you're like freaking out right now, an earthquake just happened and it's probably the end of the world, but we should post this on the internet everywhere. And I don't think I would have ever thought of it. And he did, and we did it right away. And things like that, you could never sit in your room and plan. You can never make that part of your master plan. So I think the biggest thing I'm learning as an artist is through many years, I feel very patient. I feel very thankful for the opportunities that I can reach for and decide to make happen by myself. And I always have a hunger and a drive. I always want to do bigger, better, great, amazing, right? But it's learning how to strategically do it in a day-to-day lifestyle kind of way. Because we can have all our big artist dreams, but at the end of the day, it's what you do every single day and what your habits are that get you somewhere.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
What are your habits right now in lockdown and everything?
Yeah. I mean, my stuff, it's so funny because it comes in waves, right? A lot of my stuff this quarantine was going through things production wise and just trying to take chances and make stuff sound weird and chase things that I wouldn't have chased production and writing wise. If I was thinking like, oh, I'm trying to make a pop album or whatever, and just really chasing sounds. But that's also different than other sheds have been throughout, my music career and stuff. Like, because when you were talking about that, it's like one year I called it my shed year, where I was just learning mix techniques, going on hikes and exercising every day, and practicing all my instruments for about 6 hours a day. So it was like this like crazy, long, horrible, stressed out day.
You're the Berkeley lab rat type. I knew the second you said that you went to Berkeley that you were that type.
It's so funny because in those things, it was something that wasn't really making any money. No one understood what I was doing. A lot of people were like, you're an idiot. And they're getting like tiny little hints of success in their career. And I felt crazy doing it. But it was the like tiny baby steps that keeps you going, right? The little tiny goals, like you were saying. And I feel like every year I'll have a new set of those goals that are like, all right, what's the day-to-day little things that I can do to try and accomplish? And so now in quarantine, it's just like making some weird music that is mixed well so it's palatable to people, and staying positive and trying not to play too much Minecraft, because that was the biggest thing that happened this month. We bought Minecraft, so.
Oh boy. Okay, so I tried Minecraft once and I got so nauseous.
Really?
Yes. And I was really sad about it because this was a while ago now, but my fans really wanted me to play it. So we did a stream and I downloaded it and we got it going. And my fans and a few of my mods were like there with me. We were doing it together. And all of a sudden I was like, guys, I don't know if it was something I ate or if I just got the flu or what the freak happened, but I think I'm going to throw up. And so I walked away and I thought it was just like an upset stomach or something. And so I went over and like I had some bread or something and I was getting motion sickness because the second I stepped away from it, I was fine. It's that whole first person thing that like, I don't think I'm easily made nauseous. I do get car sick, but I love roller coasters. I'm fine with planes. So that was really weird for me to have that experience. You don't have that, obviously.
I wish we did.
Yeah, maybe you wouldn't play so much.
Don't play video games at all. Like we had the Xbox in the closet for 5 years.
Yeah.
But we played it and liked it and enjoyed it. Now we have to pack it up because it's too addictive. Yeah, I mean, I feel like all musicians have a sort of addictive personality a bit, and so if we're getting into it, we're like, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm not gonna stop until it's done. So when you get into a video game like Minecraft, it's like we're mining, we're building it, we have goals that we're trying to hit, like let's do it. But
so you're not playing like story mode, are you?
No, just the I forget what it's called.
Yeah, whatever. The levels and it's like actual progression of the story or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, we only did story mode or whatever it is. Maybe it's not story mode. It's just like chill mode where you're not actually progressing in the game. You can just like build random stuff. Yeah. We built a big weirdo crew amphitheater stage and like had a huge audience section and then like a stage that said weirdo crew and and then I threw up. So
that you should do some advertising for Minecraft. It'd be great.
I think I would sell many barf bags. So anyways, I totally get you on the addictive qualities thing. You say you're not too much of a gamer. What else do you struggle with to stay on task, or do you find that you can find ways to get addicted into music again and stay on track?
Yeah, I mean, I'll come into the studio and just work on mixes and work on these things or just trying to craft certain things, and I'll be here from 9 a.m. to
Minecraft things.
Hey, there you go. But I'll get, with music stuff and chasing after things or learning new software, like I'm a big stickler for like reading entire manuals when I get a new thing.
Oh my God, you are such a Berkeley type. I can't with you. You people are superhuman.
But I feel like everyone can do that. And
nope.
But I just like knowing how stuff is like functioning and building. So like I'll like get just really caught up in the music stuff, but also I do my own live show direction and do my lighting, or I do like my own music videos and like all these things. So sometimes I'll just like pinpoint on something that might not be the task that needs to get done that day and spend too much time on it. So that's like the hardest part, is like trying to have the checklist of like what to do.
Do you have a problem like stopping working on something? Yeah.
So my wife hates it. I mean, she doesn't hate it. We all get it because we're both workaholics, and when someone's working, the other person has to be working. So it ends up being this thing of like, oh, like, hey, like Nicole, like, are you done with work? And she's still working on something. Then I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go work. And then like an hour later, she'll be like, all right, I'm done. Jake, are you done? And I'll say, no.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to work.
And it keeps going. So like, that's the hardest part, because we love working.
Me too. I'm a total workaholic, and my days off are doing other things that are still pretty work intensive. Like yesterday, so I moved a couple months ago. Yesterday, I finally organized my closet. And that's a lot of work, you know? Like, that was my day off, was just a complete closet makeover. No big deal.
A quick break to like actually organize this properly.
Life stuff. But I have a real problem, like when I'm working on something, like a song or video or whatever. And I literally have to talk to myself out loud. I'm literally like doing it. I'm just like so in the zone. And I'm like, Nova, put it down. Stop clicking. Nope. Stop. And I'm still doing it, but I have to like yell at myself for like an hour, and then I'll maybe slowly stop. But I have to stop, because I'll tinker and I'll just like do all this unnecessary stuff. And it's like, it's good enough. I've really had to learn what streamlining looks like, and that process of just like putting it down when it's good enough, because nobody's freaking going to be able to tell the difference.
And then there's that one troll online that's like, well, like,
there's never a troll though. Really? You're the troll. You're the one.
I don't know. I'm just all positivity all
I
the time.
don't believe that there's a troll. It's totally you. I know it.
It's totally in our minds.
So you make your own music videos too?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so cool. It's hard. I've been making my own, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah. I always think I feel like the big battle for a lot of artists, it's like a money game, right? Because if you look at certain aspects of the industry, it's like, this costs this. So if you're going to do a record, multiply that by how many tunes are on the record. And then all of a sudden it's crazy. And then if you learn the skill, then it's free and you have it forever. Yep. So I just started like kind of doing that, because videos, like, as we all know, can get crazy expensive. And if you look to the work that's actually going into it, it's like, it's fun.
Oh no, I love it. I love editing. However, at least where I'm at with it right now, it takes way too much time. In my mind, I'm getting to that point where it's like, is it worth paying someone else so that I can get my time back? Because this last video took me like a month. Because I'm shooting everything myself, and then I'm going and editing everything, and I've got this standard of what a music video should be. It's never simple. I always say I'm going to do something simple. It's never simple. So how are you navigating that and like getting through, and you're like, oh, this is fun, Bert?
Yeah. I'm not doing it well. No, I mean, I think a big thing that, like, just for me, organizing, storyboarding, and doing, you know, like, I feel like there's a genre of work that's like, you hit 11 p.m. and if you're working into the night, you can't really do too much like detail-oriented stuff to a certain extent. So I always like would storyboard and get everything organized to like, here's the shot list down to the second with the color scheme and like everything like written out.
Yeah. So I storyboarded my last video for the first time. Usually I only do, I guess, what is it called? I guess a treatment with maybe, you know, scene descriptions and like knowing where I'm, like location-based shooting. This time I did a storyboard, and it was a lot more time consuming. Not the storyboarding part, but getting all the shots necessary to fill every frame that needed to be filled. Because when you're going part by part, section by section, line by line, second by second on like where you're going to put what, you start realizing how much you have to shoot and then how much you have to edit to get that to look like what you did. Yeah.
To get it all. Yep. Yeah. And to go through all the takes and be like, all right, this is the one. Well, I think a big thing too, it's like, I am rarely in the music videos.
Oh, that's helpful.
Super helpful, right? I hate like, I actually learned animation and illustration because I was initially going to do just animated videos and had like a sort of gorillas thing.
Because I know your little JK guy with big head. Yeah, super cute. So that's your drawing?
So I worked with the illustrator, Broken Doodler, and crafted the concept for all these things. And then I learned the using like character animator and like some Adobe software stuff to like
After
process
Effects.
it. Yeah, exactly. Like After Effects and get it to move and then do like Vizimaze and get it to talk and then understand like really doing the skeletoning of the animation. Because that was sort of the initial idea. Like I could do all these videos and not have to be in them, but it takes a lot of time.
I would have never thought to dive into animation. Like that's next level.
Yeah, you would dig it. You know, it's one of those things I'm sure you would crush it. You once you get past some of the stuff. But I switched into just doing sort of like narrative videos a little bit, and using actors for stuff. And it just makes stuff a little bit easier. And then I can go into like, you know, the matrix mode of like, you know, my eyes will roll back and I'll just be like, all right, we need to get these shots. Let's go through the shots. Like, let's get this stuff happening. And turn off the music brain and turn on the director brain. And I feel like that's the only way I can make it happen.
Yeah.
By turning off my personality.
Being a shell of a person for the art.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you're right. That definitely was one of the bigger challenges for me, was being in it. So many brains to be in at once, from performing to costume and makeup to set falling apart behind me and have to fix that, and then camera and am I in focus? No? Okay, well, I ended up using a few shots that were out of focus and just living with it, because no, I don't have a focuser on set. It's me and my cat. So here we go.
It's like people don't get how hard that is. Like, especially the idea of performing in a music video, like acting and performing and doing that stuff. That is so hard. That like it's not just like a natural thing. And then being the editor and all that stuff. That's why I always choose to use actors, because like otherwise I will just be doing takes forever and then like going through a million things being like, where do I not look weird?
See, that's why I just made that's why I made Weird the brand, though, so that I can just keep all that in, you know. It makes my job easier.
That's how I roll. That's my brand. But yeah, I mean, it's so cool because I saw like you're posting about doing your video and like getting all this stuff cooking with the, you know, the video that you did. It's like, I love that so much because you get to see an artist's brain even further. And it's beautiful. Like, so like mad props for like doing that stuff.
Thanks. It was depressing at times.
That's what art is.
But it is. And it's like, I mean, in all seriousness, it's like what you were saying with production, like, and how you can put more of yourself in different ways into a piece of work. And I wouldn't have it any other way now. Like, even though I think the main struggle with making a video for me is just the undertaking of all of it. Because each piece I love. I love producing, I love directing, I love being a performer, I love editing and just like being a hobo for a week and getting something done. Like, I love it all. It's just because it's it all, it can be very overwhelming, and it's just a lot of switching your brain from thing to thing. But I think what I'm learning is like taking my time with it and letting myself take breaks was the biggest thing with this last one, because this last one really was all me. I've never shot everything before. I usually edit everything, but I usually have someone's eye or help, you know, on set, or some extra hand at least. But this time it was all me, and I started it in May, and I didn't just put it out until like a week or so ago. I needed breaks, and I moved, and like health stuff, whatever stuff happened. But if I hadn't even had those things, it would have taken me a couple months, because after 3 or 4 days of like rigorous shooting, I can't even listen to the song for like a week. I just need a break. I can't get in that brain right away, and just letting myself do that was helpful. But it was still really tough.
Now, do you feel like, because when did the video come out again?
Like a week and a half ago.
Yeah, so I feel like you're still relatively close to all the work, but it'd be cool to like chat in a month and be like, hey, like, how do you feel about what you did?
Oh no, I can't. I'm there now. I am the kind of person, I wake up in the morning, I forgive and forget. I have no recollection of the negative things. I mean, I do when I think about it, but I've stepped back enough. I'm proud of it. I'm so stoked that it was the first song that I fully produced and the first music video I fully made. And it's called By Myself, so it's quite ironic and perfectly fitting. So I'm totally proud of it. I just think I'm just to the point after everything that happened where I'm like, the video is either going to be a one-take style video or I'm hiring a little bit of freaking help because my time matters, you know? And I've got so many other things that I want to do, covers and other songs, and like, if one song and video takes like 3 months, that's a little extra, you know?
Yeah. And stress during that whole 3-month period.
Yeah, it's all riding on you. But it was a good experience because now when I do work with other people, I know the process more intimately than ever, to say the least.
Yeah. Which is so good. I mean, that's awesome.
So what's the latest? Because the change is when you're in a car with the peeps. Did you make that one at all?
Yeah. Okay. So that's just like the lyric video of it, right? Where I got to be like, well, it's just this. Don't worry, it's not the full thing. But pretty much we did a photo shoot for the record, which I've never done. But some of the cats that were on it were like, you got to do this. Like, we're going to do the thing. So we rented this, that 1970s Buick and drove it to like the studio and like did all this stuff, which like personally I thought was a little bit overkill and just like, this doesn't feel like me. But then we decided to just drive around the block with it. And then I did all the animation for the rest of the video and just tried to make it a thing. Yeah. But it's sort of the little placeholder right now for that one. But it was fun.
No, I think that's amazing. I think you could have called it the video, to be honest. And this is kind of what I'm learning. I was just talking to my mom about this because she's my best friend and my only friend. So I
freaking love my mom.
I love my mom so much. She's my best friend. But she and I were talking, and I was like, so just for reference, I released the song By Myself in May.
Okay, got it.
I put out the official audio on YouTube, and it went out to all the platforms, right? That song was not received by my fans until the video came out. We are in a time where videos matter so much and the visual is everything. And I'm not saying that in the way that you think, that it's very important that it has to be high quality. I'm saying actually the opposite, that they just have to see something.
Yep.
This is my theory, at least, because Katy Perry's doing it, and like a bunch of other artists right now where they're in quarantine, they can't have huge sets and have big teams. They're breaking everything down and they're doing really simple stuff. And that's all people need. They just need to see and have some kind of association visually with the song, and they're good. So that's been my whole epiphany. And like, I'm now trying to think, okay, I released a song called Gray in June. No one's freaking heard the song because there's no video to it. What can I do that's super simple that like can capture the essence of the song and just be simple is good enough? I really think so. At least that's what I think. I don't know.
No, I 100% agree, right? Because everyone just needs that, because we're in, the realm where everyone needs to be stimulated by looking at a thing. And if the thing is moving, then it's like, right on, and then they're with it. I have the same thing. This thing's moving.
That's all it takes.
We're all like in that scene at WALL-E at the end where everyone's just in their chair staring at the screen. That's where the world is, kind of.
I know, I've been thinking about that actually. I don't know, I'm kind of like okay with it though.
It's like cool to a certain extent until we get into politics and all this other stuff, but we won't get into that.
Yep.
It's just so funny because I had a song that I thought was like the song that defined me and the new thing that I'm taking, and I'm gonna like really put everything. It's this crazy composition called People Got Things. It's like labeled PGT on my Spotify, and it was this big thing that was like, so like I'm rapping about myself and all of these things, and or like there's an orchestra, there's all this crazy stuff, and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever made, and it's gonna be the best thing. 1,000 views on streams on Spotify, and it just like because there's no video for it. And then I did this other song called Better Parts, which we filmed a video really quickly and just like spot shot, and it's a breakup song that took about like a day to make and then a day to do the video, and we got it out like 2 weeks later.
Did you edited it in a day?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But we did the video and put it out, and then all of a sudden it just like goes up like, you know, like fire. And it's a funny breakup song, but I was like, my masterpiece isn't having anything on it.
Yeah, just make a video. Just walk down the street and hold the camera.
Exactly. Have you checked out Rich Brian?
No.
I think that's his name. I gotta double check.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Rich Brian did this great concept where he's part of this label called 88 Rising.
Oh, I know this guy. The guys that I made my song ADHDAF with are in love with him, and he has that one video where like the house is burning or something. What is it?
Okay, I forget.
He has some really cool videos though.
But he did one that they got a green screen studio, rented it, and didn't do any of the CG for it. And we're just like, here's a green screen video, like, and it was genius because what he said was like, hey, internet, go for it. And everyone crafted all of these things using the green screen. Right?
Lazy never looked so good. Oh my God, that is amazing.
It's amazing, right? And you just have all these cats doing stuff like that. And it's like, oh my.
Like explosions behind him and like, oh, that's so cool. Like,
yeah, and like putting him in movies and all of this stuff. And it's, you know, go to Reddit and be like, have fun with it. But it's so funny because it's like everyone's doing videos now, but then it's like, all right, like who's doing like the cool little concept thing to make it just like dope, and it can be simple, and it can just be amazing.
Well, I think simple can be more effective in a lot of ways, especially it depends on, it doesn't always depend on this, but I think the song matters, and like following the song is always, you know, just the first rule. It has to fit and kind of be the vibe. But in contrast also works too, like where it's like a really, really simple song and everything's crazy, or a really crazy, more complex song like a Jacob Collier or something, and turning it just stupid simple.
Yeah.
But they just need to see something. So I've been really trying. I'm pushing myself with this because it's really hard for me not to go ham on everything I freaking do. But I'm trying to think of those things, like those cool, simple concepts that's like, oh God, it's so dumb. Why didn't I think of that? Like, I'm trying to have those epiphanies, you know?
Yeah. Which is always the hardest part, being like, all right, how do we do this simple? And it's like, I don't know.
And it never is. Even if you like start with the simple concept, it always will get more.
Yeah.
The song Gray that I was telling you about, my idea for that, everybody's just finding out now for the first time. Only 100 people like listen to this podcast, so it's fine. But there's no official announcement. But my idea for it is to literally jerry-rig some kind of tripod taped to the side of my car system and just have it looking in on me, looking out the window in a car ride. And I'm going to shoot it at 60 frames, maybe 120. My camera is pretty good, but do it in slow-mo and sing the song fast and just have it be a one take driving in the car, looking out the window, moody type thing. Because the song is I really want this song to be highlighted. So I don't want anything crazy to begin with. But if you had any advice for me, I want to do this in one take. And that's what I said for my last video, or not my last video, but my first video the last one that I wanted to do in one take. And I just chopped the crap out of it. Like, it's supposed to be one take. It wasn't. So what would your advice to me be to keep it simple and actually do a one take video?
I mean, I would I mean, anything that you think of is the right answer, right? Because it's you and it's your art. Like, let's all start with that. Because I always hate when people are like, "Wow, what you should do," but I mean, I think that's dope. Like, again, like digging, like, all right, it's gonna be the sped up. It's already like cool because you have the performance element of that you're messing with time, but you're singing it in time and it looks cool.
Which I think is always like a really slick illusion to like make it look cooler than it is. Like when it's in real time, it's just not as cool.
And and then never show anyone the actual speed of the version that you did when you're doing it twice as fast. If there's this cat, it's funny. I'm gonna make it a little bit of a longer story. There's this guy named Jake Sherman who's this really, really amazing organist from Berkeley, and he also does pop stuff, which is super cool, and it's great.
Jake Sherman?
Yeah, Jake Sherman, which is funny because my full name is Jacob Knox Sherman.
No way.
Since he went to Berkeley at the same time and he was crushing it, I was like, I'll go by Jake Knox instead of Jake Sherman.
Oh my God.
People viewing this, yep, that's sort of the push for that. But anyway, He's got a super dope promo video thing where they're throwing stuff behind him like glass. And so it's breaking behind him while he's doing the video, right?
Yeah.
But I just think that's what I would say is like, if you're doing the speed thing and messing with time, figure out a way to like have stuff in the background really show that the time's messed with.
Yeah. So like have my brother in the back seat just like throwing confetti behind my head.
Yep, like stuff like that, and breaking, like, it all depends
So really emphasizing that there's a time warp happening.
Because it's, to the eye, it's like they're watching you and they're like, all right, she's singing the song, but then if you just see like a Slurpee just like with it, then it's like, oh no.
You're so funny. Oh no. What you would say if a Slurpee spelled, that's what you would say.
But I mean, it's cool. I mean, you've got a vibe and your music's good. So it's literally anything is the right answer. It's just.
I hope that I can play around with it to where I can get it attached to the car with the window closed, because I'd love to try to get like the reflection of trees and stuff going in front. I just don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see.
Well, if you need any video, I love doing stuff like that. Of like, we've got like a couple gimbals and stuff that we invested in. That like, it'd be cool like to get those shots, right? Like if you watch Changes or Better Parts.
Did you get like a full-on crane for that?
Well, so no, what we do is I have a Scion. We're breaking the law. We have the Scion trunk open and just have like whoever is filming it. For Changes, it was my buddy Catherine, but every other video, it's me back there with my feet like on the side of it and just holding the gimbal like this and just getting those moving shots because it's like the same quality or whatever. But I would love to, let's chat about it. I love getting back there and being like, ah.
Hit me up. And I love that DIY life. Like I am the first person to be like, ghetto is better. Like
it's so, but it is, like if you go to the Beastie Boys, like all that stuff with like Spike Jonze and stuff, he's just on like a little camera and they're just kicking it. And that's like pretty much everything. And it's like, yo, it's cool because you're understanding the entire vibe of where that artist is and how they are interacting. Like I hate videos that are like middle of the road, like super high production value but not saying anything. And like DIY is always better unless you go to like a cat like Oliver Tree or like Dylan Francis where their videos are just like bonkers.
I love them and I want to be that someday.
Yeah, I was just showing my homie Oliver Tree. It's like, it's great, it's genius, and the lyrics are great. Like if you listen to the words, man.
He's such a weirdo. That's why I love him so much. Like, if I was a dude, I'd be rocking the bowl cut with the weird jeans and the scooter. Like, that'd be it.
That's confidence right there, too. Like,
oh, I love it. I love the title of his album, too. Ugly is Beautiful. I love that.
Ugly is Beautiful. It's so dope.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. To tag along with what you were saying before, like the whole middle of the road thing, I totally agree. And I have a little bit of a theory, like even with movies, but music videos are basically movies, right? So I don't know. I kind of have this theory that it was like movies and music videos were better back in the day because it was kind of ghetto. And even if they did have bigger teams and like official cameras and stuff, like it wasn't like it is today. I feel like it's become, there's like this industry standard and this cookie cutter checklist that you go through to get for a video. And just real quick, it can get really stale and vanilla because I feel, and I was listening to like this meditation thing today, whatever. I'm trying to be a better person. It's no big deal. But they were talking about how us as humans, when we evolve, we only are moving forward and we really make our biggest leaps in the face of adversity. And when we are forced, only when we are forced to go outside of our comfort zone and do something different and level up in a new way, are we actually evolving? We can't evolve when we're in comfort, when we know everything and everything's good, life's fine. Like, we're not going to want to change because this is it. We're happy here, you know? Like, why are we going to want to push ourselves when everything is good? So, with that being said, I feel like that's the same thing with videos. Like, when you're faced with the end of the world, that the whole set's falling over and you're never going to get the shot, and like all of this stuff, all these challenges that pop up in a ghetto kind of DIY shoot, that's when the magic can happen and happy accidents happen because it's not regimented and perfect and everything is all figured out. You have to like think on your feet, and that's when I think stuff can happen that's magical, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I'm totally with that.
So let's make something.
Let's do it. I'm down. That's when it's like, okay, Shinova and Jake Knox died in a car accident trying to do a music video.
Oh my God, that is totally how I'm gonna go, is doing something crazy to get the shot. How did she die? She got the shot. It's so sad.
She got the shot. If you see there's a Slurpee in the back, so it's slow-mo.
That's all that matters. I will die for it. We got the shot.
We got the shot. But yeah, that's so true.
I'm gonna knock on wood, but
I always think too, like, too many cooks in the kitchen can like really just make stuff sound so vanilla, like you said. Like,
yeah.
Because
it's in those moments that you're like having to figure it out on your own, that you figure out something new that someone hasn't done before, that you wouldn't have thought of before. So
yeah.
Anyways, dude, I'm totally on the same page with you. I'm so stoked for you. I can't wait for the full-length album. Are you kidding me? 11 more songs. Congrats to that. Good luck on that. If you need any help with that, let me know. I'm good with feedback. But let the Boss Pod and everybody know where we can find you and support you.
Well, you can find me at Jake Knox Music on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Just search Jake Knox on YouTube to see all the videos and stuff. And also, if you go to www.jake-knox.com/bosspod, there's an unreleased single from the record that we're giving
you
to
did
all the
not
people.
do the thing. You did the thing.
We did the thing.
You're the first person that's done that. That's so cool.
Hey, there you go.
Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, there's going to be a shinova.co/bosspod ep, whatever this is going to be, that you can link to there as well. Once, this is out.
We'll get it cooking.
Yeah, dude, that is so cool. Like, the initiative. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Fun story about that song. We were going to shoot a video for it, and it was going to be all old people having a rager party flying around, because I figured out how to do that with video and stuff in a mansion. And COVID hit. And so there's no way that we can do that because it's way too dangerous.
Yeah, old people.
To do. Yeah, right.
Okay, hold on. What's the song called again?
This one's called Los Angeles, so it's unreleased. But if you go to the thing, you'll see.
God, that video would have been so cool.
Right, I know.
Were you gonna get drones or what?
Well, it was gonna be this whole thing where I configured a rig to get harnesses using climbing harnesses and stuff. And then like there's all this crazy, I went in, the whole of like, how do I do this? How do they get the flying stuff? And we figured it out, but now we can't do it.
Okay, so idea, prosthetics. Just pay a little extra money and get some young kids to look old.
That's true. You know, I'm more like analog. I like the actual old people and not like the digital prosthetic.
Okay, well, in COVID, you can't get everything.
I'm just kidding. No, totally. Well, we gotta figure it out.
You got to figure something out with that. That's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe do it with dogs. They can't get COVID.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just saying stupid stuff now, but sometimes it makes people think of new ideas, so I say it anyway.
Hey, no, that's the way to go. It'll be the biggest video.
Yeah, dogs and harnesses.
It'll be good.
Or no, that's you in the harness, right? Getting the shot.
No, that's the people in it. So
okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
It's funny. We actually did a little we did a test of me flying around Los Angeles, and it was the nerdiest thing ever. And maybe I'll release that. It's hilariously stupid.
So speaking of Los Angeles, are you okay in the fires and everything?
Yeah, you know, it's we definitely feel the smoke a little bit because we're in the valley, we're in Van Nuys. But yeah, we're okay.
It's worst out east.
Yeah, it's just tricky everywhere. There's a fire at the Sepulveda Basin, which is 2 miles from our house, which like we saw, and it was weird. We looked outside and everything looked sepia tone, and we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But we're okay. We're just you know, trying to do vocal takes while having a super dry throat.
Yeah.
Living that life.
Yeah, no, I've been there too. Yeah, no, I've been there too. And the air quality has been really unhealthy. And it comes in waves, apparently, just based on like the wind. And so the other night I went to sleep and I checked it and it said it was like only unhealthy for sensitive groups or something like that.
Right, yep.
Then I woke up in the middle of the night and my chest was tight. And like I couldn't fully breathe without it like kind of hurting.
Yeah.
And I like pulled out my app because I had all the windows open and everything because it's cool at night now. And like it was like very unhealthy all of a sudden. And so I got up and like closed all the windows and like fell back asleep with a mask on because
Oh, no.
I don't know. It's kind of like I didn't realize that it was in waves like that. So it just came out of nowhere. So now I've just been keeping the AC on.
Yeah, it's the worst. Are you from Los Angeles originally?
No, I'm from Texas.
Hey, we're in Texas.
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. That's the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Gosh. Have you been there?
No, I was gonna go to school in Denton at North Texas, but decided to go to Boston. But Chance Pena, the guy that was on the record, he's from Tyler, Texas. So
okay, where's that?
Close to Denton. I have no clue.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say but what is California's deal? Earthquakes and fires.
I mean, the whole world. 2020 just took a poop. I don't know. It's really bad. I don't know what's happening exactly. I started therapy again for the first time since I was 13. I don't know. I don't know. Life's just freaking crazy right now. Everything just all hit at once. And maybe it's because I'm an empathic person or I'm an empath. What is it? Empathetic person. Yeah. I just have been feeling everything very deeply. I wish the world wasn't the way it is right now. There's like just a lot of unfortunate and unnecessary negative stuff happening. I wish we could come together right now with September 11th that had just happened. Of course, I got recommended some videos and then like I watched a few, which usually I don't because I always get very like affected by it and can't go on with my day. But yeah. I did for some reason. And I was just like crying and kind of like remembering those times of when I was in second grade and like scared, whatever. Like I was not impacted like, anybody else, but because I was too young. But I wish, this is my dream right now, for the well-being of the world, is that we could see that we are kind of going through a 9/11 vibe right now. And we need to come together like we did in 2001. We're not coming together. We're going apart.
We're going apart, yeah.
And I know there's reasons for that. I know we're not seeing eye to eye on everything. But can't we not see eye to eye together? Because this ish is too heavy to be divided like this.
Have you seen the
Yeah.
documentary, was it The Social Dilemma?
No.
I think everyone should watch it and just be aware of the effect of social media and advertising, all this stuff has on everybody. Because in my opinion, that's like why we're here.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's just algorithms and stuff are dividing us because it's trying to get us to keep viewing like all this stuff. But it's just a good reminder to like just to watch. And then also I feel like I felt grounded watching that, especially during all this stuff, because you're like, oh yeah, like people are good, like there's good people, everybody's going through a really tough time. And like if you take away the elements of like social media and a lot of this stuff that adds added stresses to everything, we're all good people that can get along. But it's just certain things that just mess up everything. And it's sad. It's like so sad, you know?
It is. I worry about humanity right now. Just because I haven't seen us like this. I mean, I've had a pretty short life, but it's a little scary to see what normal is becoming for us, that we're just kind of used to being this way with each other. And I think COVID has definitely added an element that is foreign, that we don't really know how to deal with. We haven't dealt with this before because we're not just, you know, ideologies are separate, like divided. It's like we're actually physically divided too. And there's this fear, and I'm really, I've just been in my house and taking walks basically, and I'll walk around the park and I'll see kids riding their bikes and masks, and the look on their face when I walk by. To be a kid in 2020, are you freaking kidding me? That cannot be good. That cannot be good. Like growing up with this fear that someone else is going to give you something that could kill you. Like, I'm sorry, but there's just something psychologically there that is just not healthy. And I worry for these kids right now.
Mm-hmm. I always think about that too. But then you also think like with different things that happened in our childhood, right? Where we had those moments. I feel like in a way we all bond over those things now. So I just have like, cause I'm sure like a lot of these kids, like my nephew started, you know, kindergarten on a computer. What is that? But I feel like they'll grow up and learn different coping mechanisms with stuff and probably treasure relationships and stuff more too. So it's like,
so maybe it's just we're too in it right now. Like after we'll be able to reflect on it and things will kind of go back to normal and they'll be able to laugh about it together kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that'll be, you know, that'll be a big thing. I mean, I feel bad, for the kids, and even like the kids going to college right now, like what a weird experience. Or like the kids that graduated high school. It's like all these things that you're supposed to do that like socially elevates you to another, like
in our 20s or whatever. And it's like, I think it's crazy for anybody. It's unnatural what's going on, and how everything's happening is just very not, it's, I don't know what normal is. I don't know if we've ever really found a perfect society, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be things, but this just, it worries me a little bit, because I want, obviously as an artist, kumbaya, world peace, togetherness, connected through love, you know, like it's so lame to say, but I just feel like we're going so far from that. So anyways, a rant about the world.
Well, it's so important to talk about it and accept feeling the feelings about it and not feeling bad about feeling bad. Because I feel like a lot of people are going through that too. And it's just like, you got to cry. Like I had a breakdown, like, you know, 3 weeks into it, we're all going through it. And some days just freaking suck. But
I think it's the unknown factor too. Like we don't know what the future is. I mean, it's still 2020. More ish could go down. Okay. Anything's up for grabs at this point. I mean, I'm going to knock on wood, but I'm kind of not kidding, because it's just like you're saying, one thing after another. Now we've got fires and hurricanes and earthquakes and all this crazy stuff. So, but anyways, thank you for your time and talking with me.
That was fun. I'm glad we just jumped into it. That was great.
There was no hesitation, and we had only met and seen each other for like that one night that we had a show together, which is so cool. And I've had a couple people on the podcast recently where it's just like I was on tour. We were there for a show, or just like I met you at a Walgreens, like, you know, we connected, and there it is. So thank you for this very stimulating, deep conversation.
Of course. No, it's good. And yeah, let's figure out DIY stuff to do together. I'd be so down.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'll text you right after this. Or I might have to email you because I don't have your number yet, but I'll email you to get your number to then text you.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, yay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jake. And Boss Pod, please be sure to follow him and support him on all that stuff. I'll leave all the things down below, either in the show notes for the podcast or the description of the YouTube. So thank you. Talk to you later.
You bet. Bye.
Peace. Bye.